Good morning. In last video, we have seen what is ecosystem and what is ecology. And now let's discuss about the classification of ecosystem. Ecosystem can be classified based on various factors. Let's see one by one. And here I just represented the picture of classification of an ecosystem based on whether the matter and energy is exchanged over the surroundings with the uh, or not. So based on that exchange of matter and energy, we can have two types of ecosystems. One can be named it as open ecosystem and the other can be named as closed ecosystem. So open ecosystem means you can take a forest or grassland where all the living systems, all the living organisms and the non-living things are interacting with each other. And where if you take the closed ecosystem like submerged marine system or deep in the sea, if you take the deep where sunlight penetration is also very less and the energy transfer is also just situated within that region itself. It's such type of ecosystems where free exchange of matter and energy is not there. Such type of ecosystems are named as closed ecosystem. And we can classify the ecosystem based on the habitat where they are available, where they are surviving. Based on that habitat, we can classify the ecology into aquatic. One of the category is aquatic, where we are studying the organisms which are living in the water bodies. It can be any water body. Again, based on what type of water it is, we can classify them further into marine water ecology, freshwater ecology. And again, in marine, we have ocean, deep sea, estuaries. And in freshwater, we can have two types, lentic and lotic. And again, they'll be divided lentic and into river, stream, and springs, lotic into pond and lake. So the other category and based on the habitat is terrestrial ecosystem. Hence, where the ecosystem surviving on the land, on the soil. So major types are grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem, forest ecosystem. They comes under this terrestrial ecosystem category. And another classification can be based on whether we created it or whether they nature naturally they just created by themselves. Based on that category, we can classify them into natural ecosystems. And again, natural can be even terrestrial or aquatic. It can be anywhere, but it should be created by the nature itself without the interference of the human being. If they're created, they comes under this natural ecosystem category. Where if you take artificial, means man engineered ecosystems, where a cropland is a best example, where we create the conditions for the survival of a particular crop, and we provide the nutrition from the external source, and we don't only depends on the rainfall, we just supply water from the external source. So all those conditions are created by the man and we created an ecosystem. Best example for artificial ecosystems are cropland ecosystems. And if you take the structure, as I told in previous video that each and every ecosystem has a unique type of living organisms and the environmental conditions. But broadly, if you take the structure of an ecosystem is same. Means whether it is a desert ecosystem or a forest ecosystem, in both we have some producers, we have different types of consumers, and we have some abiotic conditions where the living organisms can survive. The structure of an ecosystem means what size of that living organisms are surviving and what is its composition. If you talk about abiotic, what is its composition? That's what we're going to study in the structure. So the basic structural components, if you take, we can classify them into biotic and abiotic. So here I just given you a flow chart here. Basically, they are classifying into biotic and abiotic components, where they both will have an interaction in an ecosystem. Again, the biotic components based on their food habits, whether the food can be produced by that particular organism, or are they depending on plants, or are they depending on other organisms. Based on their food habit, we can classify the biotic components into different categories. And even under non-living, we have the physical components and chemical components. Let's just see first the biotic components, and then we'll discuss about the abiotic. So as I told, biotic components are classified based on their food habits into different category. The first category is what? Producer. Producer name itself indicates that they can produce their own food. They also called as autotrophs. Autotroph. Troph means nutrition, auto means self. The nutrition can be synthesized, can be prepared by themselves. Such type of organisms comes under this category called producer. They don't depend on food on other organisms. So we know that best example is all green plants. They can synthesize food by photosynthesis process by using light, and absorbs the carbon dioxide from the environmental gases and then converts into the food, that is glucose. This process is what called photosynthesis. So by using photo energy, means light energy, they are synthesizing their own food. So all green plants are called as photoautotrophs. They're autotrophs, but they are utilizing the photon energy, means light energy. So there are other category of producers are also there, which are called as chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs, the best example is sulfur bacteria, which is there in marine ecosystems deep in the sea where no sunlight is available. Then the sulfur bacteria breaks the H2S, which is there in the soil or in water. By any source, they can be added to water, or else it will be available naturally in the soil. So they break down the bond, and that energy is utilized for the production of its own food. So they're called as chemoautotrophs. They use the chemical energy for production of food. They're called as chemoautotrophs. So producers are all green plants called photoautotrophs, and sulfur bacteria, which is called chemoautotrophs. They can synthesize their own food. And the next level is consumers. Means they can't synthesize their own food. They depends on other organisms for food, that they are called as consumers. And consumers are also called as heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means they depends on other organism for nourishment, for food. Again, the consumers can be classified into different categories: herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and detrivores, based on the food habit again. If you take an animal, if is getting food directly from the plants, directly from the producer, they're called as herbivores, and they are known as primary consumers, and they feed on only plants. So best example, cattle, sheep, insects, rabbit, these are all. Carnivores. Carnivores means the organism which depends on other organism, means animal depends on other animal for food. Such type of organisms are called as carnivores. And the examples are lion, tiger, cats, shark, frogs. These are all the examples for the carnivores. And here, carnivores are of two types: predators and scavengers. Predator means it hunts and kills the other organism for food. Lion, tiger, these are all comes under this category. Scavengers eats a food that has been killed and left behind by predator. Vulture is the best example for scavenger. And scavengers are different from the decomposers, because decomposers decomposes the dead body. They also feed on the dead organism, but it decomposes it and consumes it. But the scavengers, they just consume the dead organism as it is. The remains left over by the predators will be consumed by the scavengers. So the other category is called omnivores. Omnivores means they'll consume both plants and animals. uh, Best example is human being and bear. Detritivores. Detritivores are the one type of consumer. They feed on the dead plant or animal matter, but they don't decompose it. They just eat the dead organic matter directly, and they are essential for recycling of the nutrients. Without them, dead plant material would not be returned to the soil for new growth. And the best example is crabs, worms, sea stars, decomposes. The decomposers are the organisms which decomposes the organic matter which is there in a dead body into an inorganic compounds, which is the simplest form of chemical, and then that inorganic matter can sink into the soil or they consume it, and the rest of the inorganic matter will be nourishing the soil, and by the decomposers itself soil can be fertilized, can retain their fertility. And the best examples are bacteria, various types of bacteria and fungi do that. And decomposers generally they just secrete some enzymes, and because of that enzymes itself the organic matter will be decomposed to simple inorganic matter. And the same whatever we discussed I just listed in this picture, where basically classification is into autotrophs and heterotrophy. Autotrophs are again producers are again two types, that is photoautotrophs and chemoautotrophs as I told. And heterotrophs can be classified into two categories, consumers and decomposers, primary, secondary. What is primary and secondary? Like if you take a food chain, producer is a base, and then producer is consumed by a primary consumer, and then secondary consumer, and then tertiary. And if you check the sequence of that eating and being eaten by other organisms, the sequence ends up with one organism. That organism is called top consumer or top carnivore. The sequence may be any number. Let's see the abiotic components of the ecosystem. If take abiotic, as I told, they can be physical factors and chemical factors. If you take the weather conditions, rainfall rate, temperature, and the wind flow rate, these are all the factors comes under physical factors. uh, if you take the chemical means the air. If you take air, composition of the toxic gases, composition of the essential gases, or else if you take soil fertility, nutrients percentage of nitrogen in the gas, percentage of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, toxic gases in the in the environment. These are all comes under chemical components. If you take any natural means abiotic components, there are factors you should consider, physical and chemical. So I just listed here a few physical components: sunlight, water, air, temperature, rainfall, whatever I mentioned, and the percentages of various types of nutrients in the soil, in water, in air. These are all comes under chemical components. Thank you.